Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict Chiefs halftime show. Patrick Allen, Sterling Holmes, Matt Verderame. This halftime show is brought to you by our friends at KC Beer Company, at KC Beer Co. on Twitter. We're drinking it. Look, we all should be thrilled right now, but I know we're all really pissed off because the Chiefs walked away from that drive at the end of the half there without 3 points on maybe the dumbest play call in the history of the AFC Championship game. But we'll get to that. The Chiefs can't be stopped right now on offense, except for the clock, apparently. How are you feeling about the first half in general? The Chiefs are looking good. They need to keep executing that.
Fantastic. That one random challenge call where they had to call a timeout before they threw the challenge flag came back to haunt them, because that would have been a timeout you could use down the stretch there. That play call, I don't have a massive, as far as the actual going for it instead of kicking a field goal with 5 seconds, I'm fine with. It was the play call itself I have an issue with. The going behind the line of scrimmage, you can throw it away with 1 second and then bring the field goal unit out. You go up 14 and receive the ball at half. That's what I would have done. But on offense, 3 full drives before that, 3 touchdowns. They look incredible. Charvarius Ward and Spags have a good game plan against Jamar Chase. I mean, you have to just absolutely love what you've seen as a whole from this Chiefs team.
I do. They've been dominant. They've really had 2 plays in this game that have been dumb. The one was Ward's got to tackle P. Ryan. I mean, you've got to do something there. At least hold him up. I thought Ward otherwise played great in this game. He's been all over Chase. They've had nowhere to go with that. They've doubled him. Offensively, my God, Mahomes was 18-21 for 201 and 3 touchdowns. You can't do any better than that. But I will say, I'll be that guy. They let him back in the game at the end of the half. This game was done, man. This game was done and buried. The Bengals looked like they were ready to shit their pants at 21-3. And, they're taking the damn time off the clock at the end of the half. They're taking forever. And Kansas City lets them off the hook with a stupid bunch of missed tackles at the end of the drive. They let Samaje Perine score. And then at the end of the half, Jesus Christ. Sometimes, man, it's galaxy brain shit for the sake of it. It really is. You have 5 seconds. Throw the ball in the end zone or just kick a field goal. I don't understand. Yeah. The only thing you can't do there from the 1 yard line is get tackled in bounds. And that's what they did. If you're going to run a play like that, honestly, then just run it. They're not going to expect that and just run it right up the gut. You probably would have scored. I think the Chiefs have been dominant in the first half. I think they're going to win. I think they're playing really well. But I'll say this. They better score coming out of half. Because if they don't, then this game starts to take on a whole different feel. Then it's like the Bengals are coming back. Yep. They had a shot to bury them right there. To absolutely bury them. And they pissed down their leg.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. In that situation, you got to throw the ball in the end zone. You absolutely have to. I don't know if they've got a jump pass in their playbook, but that would have been a great time to run a jump pass with Mahomes, because you're like, all right, kind of run. They're not expecting you to run it, right? You run up the middle, they shit their pants. If it's there, just keep going. If it's not, throw the ball. You're out of there in 4 seconds, and you kick the field goal if it doesn't work out. That play was just, of all the, there should have been nobody behind the line of scrimmage to throw the ball to, right? There should have been no option for him to do that. So look, this is the same thing that happened in the first game with these 2 teams. The Chiefs offense, and I said this in our pregame show on Thursday, that this game was all about the Chiefs offense continuing to execute. They did in the first half. If they execute in the second half, it doesn't matter what the Bengals do. The Chiefs are going to win the game. What they can't do is come out and score 3 points and expect the defense has already done their job, in my opinion. They've done enough for the Chiefs to win. They held them to 10 points in the first half. The Chiefs are on a roll. They've stopped Jamar Chase for an entire half. Now it comes down to the Chiefs offense. If they go out there and execute, score, and they score a touchdown on that first drive, forget it. But now, instead of being up, they would have been up 14, right? It's an 11-point game now. Instead of being up 2 touchdowns, they're only up 11. So that's a big drive for the Chiefs. You give the ball back there without scoring points, and the Bengals are like, fuck, man, we're right back in this.
The offensive line of Kansas City has been absolutely dominant. It's like someone slapped their sisters and then they're taking it out on the Bengals defense, because it's been Unreal. Orlando Brown Jr. is pancaking dudes like he's at Waffle House. Joe Tooney and Creed Humphrey are big enough, making holes big enough to drive a semi-truck through. It's just been complete domination. Mahomes has as much time as he wants back there. It allows McColl to get downfield, for Tyreek Hill to get downfield. He's going through third, fourth options, hitting guys. I think the offensive line of Kansas City needs a ton of credit.
They've been great. And I look, the Chiefs don't have sacks yet in this game. They're all over Burrow. Burrow has no time to throw the football. I mean, they don't have a sack because the ball's coming out in a second. I mean, there's just nowhere to go. I still feel fine about the game, but I really do believe like that sequence at the end of the half, like you just have to get points. I just will never understand it. I'll never, as long as I live, understand their thought process sometimes. And that's as much as Mahomes as it is on Reed. You can't throw the ball there. And then Mahomes afterwards is calling timeout. Buddy, you don't have a timeout. Like, what are you doing? I will say this. If the Chiefs score a touchdown at a halftime, this game's over. This game's over. They're not going to come back. If you're the Chiefs, the one thing you feel best about right now, the Bengals just can't stop them. I mean, they're just rolling up and down the field. But the concern is it, and Jeff just said it here in the chat, like, the Bengals are going to make some kind of an adjustment. I mean, now whether or not it works, who knows, right? But Kansas City, this game would have been over if they had scored a touchdown right before half. They would have been in really good shape. Even if they gotten a field goal, then, hey, you come out of this drive, you get a field goal, you're up 27-10. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, you're still in very good position, but you've given, like, if you're the Bengals, man, you're going into the locker room after that, like, hey, we got killed in that half, and we're only down 11? Like, okay, a hell of a lot different of a feel if the Chiefs had even gotten 3 there.
Yeah. I think Spagnuolo deserves a ton of credit here for switching up. Have you noticed what he's done? Sure, Ward's been playing man coverage on Chase,
doubling everybody,
but they're doubling. Yeah. It's just, to me, I think it's very impressive. Spags' adjustments. We've talked about it. This is what we wanted to see him do. We didn't know if we would see him do this, considering how he likes to sometimes, I want to say, maybe be a little bit stubborn. But Spags deserves a lot of credit getting his guys in the right spot in this game.
He does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how do you feel about Jerick McKinnon? I really think the running game will continue to be key for the Chiefs in the second half. One, they're having a ton of success for it. And no matter, like, the Bengals are going to make some adjustments, but I don't think they're going to make adjustments to try to stop the Chiefs running game. They've been doing a great job. It's really enabling the Chiefs balance. They're not finding themselves in a lot of third and longs. They're in a lot of second, third and manageables, and that's because they're running the football. It's going to eat clock. Come out and keep doing that. Nice long drives. Right now, the biggest enemy that the Bengals have is the clock. They've only got 2 quarters to catch up. They got to make up 11 points with Patrick Mahomes playing offense on the other side of the must-win game. So keep giving the ball to McKinnon. Both he and Edwards-Helaire are running well. I'd keep sprinkling in that run every series. Don't get all pass happy, Andy, and then end up with some tip ball or something bad happening.
I mean, look, let's be honest. This is pretty much what we talked about before the game. The Chiefs are clearly the better team. Like, this isn't one of these things you're like, wow, the Bengals, they're really more than I thought. Like, the Bengals are not doing anything in this game. They're not. They can't stop them offensively other than that screen pass, which, all right, fine, whatever. I mean, the Chiefs missed a tackle. They've done nothing. Boyd, Higgins, Chase, nobody can get open. The Chiefs are getting pressure. This has not been a problem for the Chiefs to this point. It really hasn't been. But again, my concern, and it'll be alleviated. If the Chiefs go down the field and score a touchdown here, it'll be totally alleviated. But they got to get momentum back on their side a little bit here. These playoff games have a life of their own. If all of a sudden you start letting the team hang in, now they go down and they punch it in the end zone, I think the Bengals at that point, the clock's at midnight. But they got to get there. We'll see if they can do it.
Sterling, what are your keys to the second half for the Chiefs?
Don't let up. I know people keep saying run the football. If you're getting 8 yards a carry, sure, but I don't want to get too conservative to where they're trying to run the clock out in the third quarter. We know how that plays out. Do what you do best. Let Patrick be Patrick. Keep your foot on the gas. I think as long as Kansas City continues to do what they're doing, what they did in the first half, they'll be completely fine. Just don't try and end the game in the third quarter. Don't want to see it.
They just got to take care of that football in this situation. This is an explosive Bengals office, so keep taking care of the football and keep tackling well. They've been doing a pretty good job tackling in this game. And that's key because it only takes, as we saw with the Piron play, one missed tackle. These guys are all super athletes, especially guys like Chase. You got to believe the Bengals are going to come out in the second half and try to force feed the ball to Jamar Chase. He's their best weapon. They got to figure out how to get him open. Chiefs need to be prepared for that, and they got to keep scoring on offense. Looks like the teams are coming out for the second half. So we will be back after the game, hopefully after the Lamar Hunt Trophy is given to Clark Hunt. We'll see you guys. Go Chiefs. See you on the other side.